Today we're going to be multiplying polynomials again. Don't forget, take notes as you go and take the survey at the end. Some things to remember. Think about what we did before. This will be very similar. Distribute everything and then combine all like terms after multiplying. We will also show another way to multiply, which is called the box method. This will just keep everything nice and organized. So our first example, we're going to do 3x times 8x squared is 24x cubed. Then 3x times negative 2x is negative 6x squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Then we're going to keep going, but this time we have to multiply the second term. So we're going to do 3 times 8x squared is 24x squared. 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Now we have to combine all of our like terms. Well, there's no more x cubes, so we're just going to bring that 24x cubed down. Then we're going to combine our x squareds. So negative 6x squared and a positive 24x squared makes 18x squared. Then I'm going to combine my regular x terms. Negative 3x plus negative 6x is negative 9x. And then I'm just going to drop that negative 3 down. And this one's complete. Now, there's another way to do this, and it's called the box method. You can see I brought up a box that is 2 tall and 3 wide. It's because my first polynomial is a binomial, which is 2 terms. My second polynomial is a trinomial, which is 3 terms. So now I'm going to write those on the side, 3x plus 3, and on the top, 8x squared minus 2x minus 1. Now I'm going to find the area of each box. Well, the area of a square or a rectangle is length times width. So 3x times 8x squared is 24x cubed. Then 3x times negative 2x is negative 6x squared. And 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Now, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to do it with the bottom row. If it's hard for you to see that we're multiplying 3 times 8x squared, you can also write this on the bottom, the 8x squared minus 2x minus 1. So then you can do 3 times 8x squared is 24x squared. 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. And 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So we have all of the same terms that we had in example 1, but now they're all in boxes. And we can't be finished until we bring these out of the boxes, and we're going to do this by combining like terms. Most of the time your like terms will be on your diagonals. So if we start in this top left corner, we just bring that one down because there's no more x cubes. Then we combine this diagonal because they're both x squareds. Then we combine this diagonal because they're both x terms. And then we just drop the last one because it has nothing to combine with. So we get the same answer either way. But the box method just helps us to keep it organized. So let's try another one. So this time I've got a trinomial times a binomial. So I'm going to need a box that is 3 tall and 2 wide. So I'm going to put my 8n squared at the top, then minus 6n, then minus 5, and then I've got a 3x plus 1 across the top. So again, I'm going to multiply 8n squared times 3x. 8 times 3 is 24. Then I keep my n squared and my x because those do not have like bases, so they cannot combine. Then 8n squared times 1 is just 8n squared. Then I'm going to do my negative 6n times 3x, which will be negative 18nx. Then negative 6n times 1, which is negative 6n. Now I'm going to do my bottom row. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x, and negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. So I start in the top left corner. 24 n squared x. There are no more n squared x terms, so I'm left with 24 n squared x. Look at your diagonals. Do they match? This time they don't, so we're not going to combine that one. So I have no more n x's, so I'm going to write minus 18 n x. I have no more n squared, so I'm going to put plus 8 n squared. I have no more just x terms, so I'm just going to bring that one down, minus 15x. No more n terms, so minus 6n, and then my minus 5. So again, you're looking for diagonals to match, but they don't always, so you got to watch that. So this is your final answer. And here's our last example. This time we have a trinomial times a trinomial. That's why we have a box that's 3 by 3. So this time we can put x squared minus 4x plus 3 and 6x squared minus 7x minus 4. So I'm going to multiply x squared by everything across the top. So I've got 6x to the 4th. Now I'm going to multiply x squared by negative 7x, which would be negative 7x to the 3rd. X squared times negative 4 is negative 4x squared. Then I'm going to multiply negative 4x by everything on the top. So negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. Then add my exponents, x cubed. Then negative 4 times negative 7 is 28. And x times x is x squared. Negative 4x times negative 4 is 16x. Then I'm going to multiply my last row, the top part, by 3 because that's my last piece. So 3 times 6x squared is 18x squared. 3 times negative 7x is negative 21x. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. That is a lot of pieces to keep track of. So this is why the box method is helpful. So I look in my top left corner. There are no more x to the 4th. So this is 6x to the 4th. Then, again, look at your diagonals. Most of the time they match. Sometimes they don't. So are there any more x cubes? No. So negative 24x cubed plus a negative 7x cubed is a negative 31x cubed. Now, I'll look at my x squareds. They're in a nice diagonal. 18 plus 28 is 46. Minus 4 is 44. So I've got a positive 44x squared. Then I'm adding my x terms. So negative 21 plus 16 is negative 5x. And then I've got my negative 12, and I'm just going to tack it on the end. So that's the final answer for this one. So, as you can see, it's very similar to yesterday, just more terms to multiply and then to combine. The box method keeps everything more organized. The box method is not necessary, but it is highly recommended for larger problems. You can solve these problems either way, like you saw in example 1, and still get the same answer. Actually, if you want to solve the problems from yesterday using a box, you can. Just change the size of the box. So here are the survey questions in case you can't see them. So make sure if you're doing a DVD, you write these down and answer them. And make sure if you are doing them online, if for some reason you can't see them, here are the questions. Make sure you click the right answer.